feels good to be home. So I've actually never put out like a full-on backpacking like tips video. I put out like maybe almost like 200 videos by now, and I've never done like a full-fledged backpacking tips, which I might actually do a couple of these, but this is the first one, my first attempt at trying to help out some newbies, some new beginner backpackers. This is going to be like backpacking tips that I wish I would have known when I started. So obviously mistakes that I made or things that I've just changed over the years to make things easier and more efficient. So a lot of stuff I cover in this video is going to be pretty obvious to a lot of people, but if you're a new backpacker looking for some tips, this could definitely be helpful to you, I think. So we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to break this down into a couple different categories. First, clothing. Second, like a little bit on gear. And then we'll get into like the actual hiking. So starting right off with backpacking clothing, layers. Layers are something you definitely want to wear backpacking because you don't realize if you're not very active or if you don't go out and do a lot of hiking that you tend to heat up a lot. Even if it gets really, really cold, I'm always stripping down layers and hiking in like something a little bit cooler. So I basically go with like a three-tier system, like a base layer, a mid-weight layer, and then like a warm layer. The warm layer is usually like a down jacket or a fleece or something like that. Definitely a mistake I made on my second trip because I just had like really heavy clothing and then like a t-shirt and shorts other than that. And if it's too cold to just hike in a t-shirt and shorts, you're not going to want like a big heavy winter coat. You're going to want to be able to take off and put on layers depending on your body temperature to help regulate it. Something definitely worth noting is down clothing. So duck down and goose down, really, really good insulating layer. Do not hike in it. This is a pro tip. There's been times when I hiked in my down jacket and I've gotten done with the trail and the entire back where my backpack was touching it was completely soaked. And if you know anything about down, it retains no insulating qualities once it's wet, so it's pretty much worthless. It takes a really, really long time to dry out too. So down is something that you definitely don't ever want to hike in. You want it to be for around camp. Sometimes you can like start off hiking in it maybe for a mile or so. I actually never, I hardly ever, I can't say never because I did it a couple months ago, but I hardly ever hike in my down jacket or anything down for that matter. Another quick clothing tip is I don't bring a lot of extra clothes. Like you definitely want to have enough clothes to keep you warm throughout. Extra clothes is something that I feel like a lot of people don't need. You might overpack that if you've never went on a trip before or something, but extra socks is something that you will always appreciate. Kind of on the same page of clothing is footwear. I actually made a whole video on this, on backpacking footwear. Common misconception is that you have to have hiking boots. I don't hike in hiking boots ever. I love trail runners. I feel like as long as it's a good shoe that has really good tread, you got to have good tread. You don't want to take like road running shoes out there. But trail runners are great if you don't want the ankle support or if you don't want the I was going to say waterproof, but you can get waterproof shoes. But yeah, trail runners are awesome. It's just one of those things that you can take like a pound or two off of each foot because some boots are like super, super heavy. That's it on clothing, just a couple quick tips there. So we're going to jump into the pack, my backpack. So number one tip when it comes to packing your backpack, organize your pack for the day. And by this, I mean put things in the pack that are going to need to be accessed during your hike at the ready, basically. So this is something that I didn't quite understand when I first started backpacking, and I still mess it up every now and then because let's say I'm going out and it's going to rain. I want that shelter to be on top, so when I open my backpack, the shelter is the first thing that I can set up to get all my gear underneath it to keep it dry. Otherwise, I'm pulling stuff out and sitting it on the wet ground trying to dig down to the bottom of my pack. That's a whole nother video for another day. I'm actually going to make that video. It's in the queue. It's on the list to do. I'm going to link it up here once I get that done. Basically how I pack my backpack for maximum efficiency. But also when I say organizing your pack for the day, I'm mostly talking about food and like trail snacks. So you pack up your stuff, you're going out on the trail, you're not going to really get too deep into your backpack until you get to a camp. So you want to have all your snacks, everything that you're going to eat that day pretty close to the top of your pack, if not like accessible while hiking without taking your pack off. So first thing I do when I'm in my tent in the morning is I get my food bag out and I grab all my trail snacks and I fill all my shoulder strap pockets and my hip belt pockets with everything that I'm going to eat the entire day. I pretty much have all my snacks planned out for the day before we set out on the hike. Now, depending if you're going to have a good old-fashioned sit-down lunch or if you're just going to eat on the go, I do always keep my food bag towards the top of my pack, so when I open it, the food bag is going to be accessible to me easily, because a lot of the stuff in there, like sleeping bag, quilt, all that stuff, like I'm not going to need that stuff during the hike, so that stuff's going to be pretty much all towards the bottom. Also, another pro tip, I used to get to camp and take out everything out of my backpack. I still do that, and I just would have stuff everywhere, all these different bags with different things in them, and I found that combining everything into less stuff sacks is the way to go. So basically, I have my like standalone items that have their own bag, like my quilt is in its own bag, my sleeping pad is in its own bag, but then I have all my miscellaneous stuff, like maybe a knife or a lighter, like a microfiber towel, any type of like first aid kit, all that stuff. I keep everything that I have that is not like big. Everything that's small, I keep in one bag. So basically, when I get to camp and I'm unpacking my backpack, I have all my standalone items like my tent, my sleeping pad, my sleeping bag, and then I have one big bag, which is basically, I call it like my possibles pouch. I've heard it called that before. Also referred to as like a ditty bag. So that has everything in it I need, like electronics, first aid. I used to have like several little dry sacks and I'd keep everything in their own bags, and I would always have all this stuff, and it was really hard to pack up in the morning because I just had stuff like laying all out all over my tent. Now I have everything in basically like one bag. It makes for such a fast cleanup in the morning. I do have a few other things that are in separate bags, like my water filter and my dirty water bag. Now this kind of goes along with pack for the day, so these are actually kept on the outside, like the mesh pocket of my backpack, so that when I take my pack off, I don't have to get into the main body of the backpack. It's all on the outside of the pack, so I can filter water without, digging through that. Also, I have a little baggie that I keep my bathroom kit, which is like toilet paper, hand sanitizer, my trowel so I can dig cat holes. I keep all that stuff on the outside pocket, so when nature calls, sometimes you don't have a lot of warning, so it's good to have that stuff at the ready. Also, I like to keep like a trash bag. I keep it actually in the bottom pocket of my backpack. I know not a lot of you guys have those, but you could also keep it into like a front mesh pocket or something. But having a trash bag is also good because I have all these trail snacks that I'm eating all day long, and you just gotta make sure you're like taking care of your trash, putting it where you're not going to lose it. On to the hike. There's so many things I could talk about, and I really want to keep this video to just like a minimal, quick, like couple tips. So I'm going to give you guys one hiking tip on this one, and I'm going to say fuel often. So when I go hiking, I eat and I drink constantly and consistently. Every hour or so, I am always eating like some type of carbohydrates, some candy bar, or a like pack of fruit snacks or something, or drinking water. You just want to make sure you're doing that like every hour or every couple hours, depending on your level of fitness, to make sure you're not gonna like bonk, you're not going to get like completely drained out there, and you're gonna be able to put in the miles that you have planned for the day. I know it's not healthy. I always get these comments every time I talk about eating sugar. I primarily eat nothing but sugar when I'm hiking. It's like just straight carbs, straight sugar. But I'm a runner, and that's just what we do a lot of the time. I mean, you can eat and get by with other things other than sugar. I know my body, so you have to do what is right for your body for sure. But I always go with the idea of looking at professional like marathon runners, like the fastest runners in the world. Like, look what those guys eat in a marathon. They're eating like gel packets that are just straight carbs, just straight sugar. for 26 miles. Keep in mind, if you're going to like just pound sugar all day, you might get a sugar high. You might come down off of that and bonk kind of hard. That's something that I really don't ever experience, but just make sure you have enough fuel to get yourself to your final destination. Now at camp, it's a totally different story. I always save my protein for a camp. You definitely want to get protein at the end of the day to help with muscle recovery. The good food comes at camp. Granted, I kind of eat like whenever I'm on trail, like period. I always get so many bad comments, people saying that it's so unhealthy and this and that, but it's like, you know, that's not my lifestyle. I actually like try to eat healthy. I make a good attempt at eating healthy in day-to-day life. When I'm on a backpacking trip though, it's all about fuel. So if I'm gonna do a marathon or an ultra marathon, it's about sugar and carbs and salt, keeping my electrolytes up and everything that I can do to keep my energy level up and my muscles from cramping. So yeah, but that's it for the video. Just a quick one for you guys today. I might do a couple of these depending on how good this video does. We'll see. I feel like I have some good backpacking tips, some things that I've learned over the years. I couldn't really think of any more at the moment, but they'll pop in my head and I'll keep writing them down. And hopefully the next one I'll have more useful tips for you not so beginner backpackers. So if you like this video, hit that like button down below, leave a comment. Honestly, if you leave a comment down below with any tips, because honestly, some of them might be good. I might use them, or if I already use them, it'll jog my memory and you might see it in the next video. But yeah, so subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. That's it for this one. As far as trips, I got one planned. I might go do it this next weekend. I'm kind of hoping it rains because I got gear I need to test in the rain, which is a really sucky thing to expect on a backpacking trip because it's never fun for me, at least. But I have to test this gear out if I'm going to take it to Colorado this summer. So yeah, that's the big West trip too. I'm going with Chill Brothers. They gave me the invite. I couldn't get out for a full week this year, but we're going to do like a long, like extended weekend on the Colorado Trail. We're going to hit like 2 14ers out there on that trip. So super, super excited. I don't think I've been higher than like 11.5 maybe. We'll see. I'm really excited to see how the lungs hold up out there. I'm pretty confident in my lungs being a runner and stuff, so it'll be a true test. Once again, subscribe down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.